Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. We're going back in time for this one, back to the 1970s.
Ah, the 70s.
Yeah. Bell-bottoms, disco, and a whole lot of UFO sightings.
Right. Seems like every other week there was a new headline about some strange lights in the sky.
Exactly. And today we're diving into some declassified Project Blue Book files.
Oh, wow. Project Blue Book
It's
stuff.
real intriguing stuff from right around a military base, actually.
No kidding.
Yeah, in Colorado. And we've even got some first-hand accounts to go with it.
Okay, well, now I'm really interested. Project Blue Book was the Air Force's official investigation into UFOs?
Yeah, it was. And they took their job seriously. So these weren't just some random folks calling in about lights in the sky.
Right.
We're talking about military personnel, pilots, people who knew what they were looking at.
That's a good point. These were trained observers, people who spent their lives looking at the sky.
Yeah, so their accounts carry a lot of weight. So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
All right. Our first witness is a woman named Kay Galloway. Now, Kay was a student at Pikes Peak College. And get this, she was already a skilled pilot.
Wow, a pilot.
Yeah, over 300 flight hours under her belt.
That's impressive.
She was passionate about flying, just like our listeners are passionate about expanding their knowledge.
Right.
Yeah, she wanted to make a career out of it.
So she knew what she was looking at up there.
Exactly. She knew her stuff, which is why her account is so fascinating. So picture this. It's a clear day. Kay's on a routine training flight.
Okay.
Yeah, with her instructor, a Captain Moran. They're flying a T-34, a pretty standard training aircraft. And suddenly, out of nowhere, Kay spots something unusual.
Something unusual.
A disc-shaped object, a classic flying saucer, moving in ways that no conventional aircraft could be.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? And this wasn't just a quick glimpse. She observed this thing for a good while.
So she had time to really take it in.
At one point, she even estimated the object was only about 200 yards away.
200 yards, that's pretty close. Close enough to see some details, I imagine.
You think so, right? And she did. She even described a strange bulge on the object's perimeter, something that really stuck with her.
Okay, now that is interesting. A bulge, huh?
Yeah, and it's a detail that's going to come up again later, so keep that in mind.
Okay, I will. But hold on, if she was with her instructor, did he see it too?
That's the weird part. According to the report, Captain Moran claimed he didn't see anything unusual.
Really? That's strange.
I know, right? You'd think an experienced pilot would notice a giant flying saucer next to him.
Right. It's not something you just miss.
Unless,
Yeah.
maybe these objects aren't always visible to everyone. Or maybe there's something more to it, something we don't understand yet.
Intriguing.
Kay wasn't just shaken by the encounter. She felt compelled to document it. She made detailed drawings of what she saw.
The shape, the movements, everything.
Yeah, everything. And, she didn't just scribble something down.
Right.
These were detailed illustrations made shortly after the sighting while the memory was still fresh. It really adds a layer of credibility to her story.
Drawings could be pretty convincing evidence, especially from someone with a trained eye.
Exactly. But unfortunately, Kay's story wasn't met with the curiosity you'd expect.
Oh, what happened?
Instead, she faced a lot of skepticism. People accused her of making it up.
Seriously, why would they think that?
Well, some people thought maybe she was trying to stand out, trying to make a name for herself in what was, at the time, a very male-dominated field.
Ah, I see. So they thought she was trying to prove something.
Yeah, maybe. It's sad, really.
It is, to have an experience like that and then be dismissed like
It
that.
just goes to show you how much pressure there is to conform.
Right, to dismiss anything that challenges the status quo.
And it makes you wonder how many other people have had similar experiences but were too afraid to speak up.
Probably a lot, sadly.
Yeah, probably. But Kay, she didn't back down. In fact, she was brought before the honor board at her college.
The honor board, what for?
They accused her of violating restricted airspace.
Wait, what? Because of the UFO sighting?
Yeah. Her whole future as a pilot was on the line because of what she claimed to have seen.
That's crazy. Talk about pressure. Wow.
I know. But here's where things take another turn. Kay wasn't alone in this.
She wasn't.
Nope. Another student pilot, a friend of Kay's, stepped forward to corroborate her story.
Okay, now this is getting good.
His name was Doug Detweiler.
Doug Detweiler. All right, got it.
And his testimony really adds a whole other layer to this already fascinating case.
So, two witnesses now, both pilots. That has to carry some weight.
Right. It's no longer just one person's word against another.
Exactly. So, what did Doug have to say?
Well, of course, he faced his own share of skepticism.
Oh, I bet.
People assumed he was just trying to protect his friend.
Yeah, it makes sense. He's just covering for her, that kind of thing.
Right, he's lying to help her out.
Yeah.
But think about it. He was putting his own future as a pilot at risk by coming forward.
Yeah, that's true.
He had a lot to lose.
Yeah, he did.
So it makes you think that he must have genuinely believed what he saw.
So what did he see? Did he see the same disc-shaped object?
Well, get this. Doug was on a solo backpacking trip during spring break when he encountered something truly remarkable.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here.
He was near a creek when he saw it.
Saw what?
A landed UFO.
Wow.
Yeah.
A landed UFO. He didn't just see it in the sky?
No, he saw it on the ground.
Okay, this is getting interesting.
And he was able to observe it for an extended period of time. He was able to take in all the details.
This wasn't a quick flyby. He had time to really look at it.
He did. And guess what? He described that unusual bulge that Kay had seen.
No way. The same bulge?
The same bulge.
Yeah.
2 separate sightings, weeks apart, both describing the same unusual feature.
That's pretty compelling. 2 witnesses, both trained pilots, both seeing the same thing? You can't just brush that off as coincidence.
Exactly. And remember, this wasn't in a crowded city where it could be easily explained away as a misidentified aircraft or a hoax.
Right.
This was in a remote, wooded area.
Okay, so less chance of mistaken identity. This is starting to sound pretty convincing.
And Doug's account wasn't just, oh, I saw a UFO. He went into detail. He described a landed craft, something tangible.
Tangible. Wow. Like it was really there.
Seemingly real. So 2 compelling witness accounts. Project Blue Book decided to step in and investigate.
That makes sense. 2 pilots seeing a UFO, they had to look into it.
And this wasn't some fringe group or amateur enthusiasts, This was the U.S. Air Force taking these reports seriously.
All right, so the government was involved. This was official.
Oh, yeah. It adds a whole other level of legitimacy to this case.
I'd say so. The Air Force doesn't just investigate every random UFO sighting, do they?
No, they don't. They sent in a team of investigators, a Captain Ryan and a Sergeant Fitz.
Okay.
They interviewed witnesses, analyzed radar data, even examined the site where Doug said he saw the landed craft. They were thorough.
They wanted answers, huh?
Oh, yeah. They were determined to find an explanation.
But they were open to the possibility that it could be something unexplained.
I think so. I mean, the radar data from that night was inconclusive, which honestly isn't unusual in these types of cases.
Right. I can imagine there are a lot of reasons why radar might not pick up a UFO.
Exactly. Maybe they have some kind of stealth technology that we don't even know about yet.
Yeah, like our own stealth aircraft, but way more advanced.
Right. Or maybe they use some other technology that we can't even comprehend yet.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. And even the investigators themselves had different interpretations of the sightings.
Really?
Yeah, some thought it might have been a hoax or a misidentification, while others, including Captain Ryan, were open to the possibility of something truly unexplained.
So even the experts were divided.
It seems that way, which I think speaks volumes about the complexity of these cases.
Right. These aren't simple things to explain away.
No, they're not. And it highlights that even within institutions like the military, there's a range of beliefs when it comes to UFOs.
So what happened next? Did they come to any conclusions?
Well, unfortunately, the honor board at Kay and Doug's college wasn't as open-minded as some of the investigators.
Uh-oh, what did they do?
They initially decided to expel both students.
Expel them.
Branding them as liars, basically, putting their futures in jeopardy.
Oh, because they saw something they couldn't explain. That's rough.
It is. It's like they were being punished for speaking the truth.
Right, for not conforming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it really makes you wonder how many other incredible stories have been silenced because people are afraid of the consequences.
Oh, I'm sure there are countless stories out there that we'll never hear.
But thankfully, there was a bit of a twist in this story. The dean of students stepped in. He recognized that there wasn't enough evidence to prove either Kay or Doug was lying.
Okay, good.
So he overturned the expulsion.
Wow, that took some guts to go against the honor board's decision.
It did. And it's a good reminder that critical thinking and open-mindedness are so important.
Absolutely. Especially when you're dealing with something that challenges our understanding of the world.
Sadly, though, the case itself remained unresolved. Captain Ryan, in his final assessment, classified the sightings as unknown.
Unknown. So no definitive answers.
No smoking gun. Just a lingering sense of mystery, the possibility that something truly remarkable had occurred.
And that unknown classification, that kind of speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It does. It's like admitting that despite their best efforts, they couldn't explain what Kay and Doug witnessed.
And it leaves the door open to all sorts of possibilities.
Right. It makes you wonder what they really saw out there.
Yeah, and what else might be out there that we don't know about.
Exactly. And that brings us to the heart of the UFO phenomenon, this enduring mystery,
The question of whether we're alone.
and the possibility that evidence of something truly extraordinary might be closer than we think.
It's a question that's been with us for centuries. Are we alone in the universe? And if not, have they already been here?
It's a question that deserves to be explored, and cases like Kay and Doug's provide compelling evidence that there might be more to our reality than we currently understand.
More to our reality. I like that. Makes you think. Right.
It does. It's like when we first realized the Earth wasn't flat.
Right. A complete shift in perspective.
And just like exploring our planet led to incredible discoveries, the exploration of the cosmos could unlock even greater knowledge.
Think about the possibilities. If we were to make contact with an advanced alien civilization,
The technological advancements, the cultural exchange, the potential for collaboration,
it's mind-blowing.
it would revolutionize our world.
Of course, there are also potential risks, right?
That's true. We don't know their intentions.
Right. We could be opening ourselves up to danger.
Contact could lead to conflict, maybe even disaster.
Science fiction has certainly explored those possibilities.
But fear of the unknown shouldn't paralyze us, right?
No, it should make us cautious, but also open to new possibilities.
Exactly. I think the UFO phenomenon, despite all the controversy, gives us a chance to think critically.
To examine the evidence and form our own opinions.
It's a reminder that there's so much we still don't know about the universe, and that's what makes it so fascinating.
Agreed. The unknown is what drives us to explore, to learn, to discover.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a question.
A question. Okay, I'm listening.
What do you believe? After hearing Kay and Doug's story, the evidence from Project Blue Book, do you think it's possible we're being visited? Or is it all just hoaxes and overactive imaginations?
The truth is out there somewhere. Maybe it's time we all started looking a little closer. Yeah, it makes you think.
It really does. And it gets even more interesting when you start looking at other cases, other reports from around the world.
Oh, yeah. There are more cases like this one.
Oh, tons of them. And many of them come from credible witnesses, too, just
Yeah.
like Kay and Doug.
Really? Like who?
Pilots, military personnel, even astronauts.
Astronauts. Wow, okay, now I'm really intrigued.
I know, right? And when you start connecting the dots, looking for patterns and consistencies in these reports, it becomes harder and harder to dismiss them all as just hoaxes or misidentifications.
I can see that, especially if you're talking about multiple witnesses, people who are trained to observe and report accurately.
Exactly. And then you have to consider the possibility that governments might have been suppressing evidence of UFO activity for decades.
A cover-up. You think that's really happening?
I don't know for sure, but it's a theory that a lot of people believe.
I can see why. If there was evidence of extraterrestrial life, it would be huge.
It would be a game changer. It would challenge everything we know about the universe and our place in it.
And maybe that's why some people think governments are keeping it quiet.
Maybe. They might be worried about causing mass panic or disrupting the status quo.
Or maybe they're trying to protect national security interests.
Right. Imagine if another country got their hands on advanced alien technology.
That would change the balance of power, for sure.
It's a chilling thought, but it's not entirely implausible.
No, it's not. And there have been people who've come forward claiming that a cover-up is happening.
Whistleblowers, people who used to work for the government in the military,
Putting their reputations on the line to speak out.
they're risking a lot to tell their stories.
So there must be something to it.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And when you combine their testimonies with the growing body of declassified documents and leaked information, it starts to paint a pretty compelling picture.
It sounds like there's a lot more to this UFO thing than most people realize.
I think so. It's like we're putting together a giant puzzle.
And we're only just beginning to see the whole picture.
Exactly. But there are still so many missing pieces, so many unanswered questions.
That's what makes it so exciting, though.
It is. The unknown is what drives us to explore, to learn, to discover.
Right. It's the mystery that keeps us coming back for more.
So what does all of this mean? What can we take away from Kay and Doug's story?
I think it shows us that the search for truth can be difficult, especially when you're dealing with something that challenges our understanding of the world.
We live in a society that often values skepticism over open-mindedness.
It's easy to dismiss something that we can't explain, to label it as a hoax or a delusion,
But Kay and Doug's story challenges us to think differently.
to be open to the possibility that there might be more to reality than we currently understand.
It takes a lot of courage to come forward with a UFO sighting.
Knowing that you'll probably be ridiculed or disbelieved.
But the people who do speak out are often driven by a deep conviction that they've witnessed something truly extraordinary.
Something that needs to be shared with the world.
And when you combine their stories with all the other evidence, it suggests that the UFO phenomenon is more than just a bunch of hoaxes and misidentifications.
It's a genuine mystery that deserves our attention.
It's a mystery that's captivated humanity for generations, and it continues to inspire awe and wonder.
And as we continue to explore the universe, to push the boundaries of our knowledge, we may one day find the answers we're looking for.
We may finally discover the truth behind these enigmatic encounters.
And who knows what we might find.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
It is, and I think Kay and Doug's story is a great example of why we should never stop questioning, never stop searching for the truth, no matter how strange or unbelievable it may seem.
It really is. It makes you realize just how much is still out there waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. We've only just scratched the surface of what the universe holds.
And that's what's so exciting about it, right? There's
Yeah.
still so much mystery, so much possibility.
Definitely. And I think the UFO phenomenon really captures that sense of wonder and the unknown.
It does. But it also raises some important questions, questions that go beyond just the existence of extraterrestrial life.
Oh, like what?
Like, what does it mean for humanity if we're not alone in the universe? How would it change our understanding of ourselves, our place in the cosmos?
That's a big question.
It is. And there's no easy answer. But it's a question that we need to start grappling with.
Especially if more evidence comes to light, if contact becomes undeniable.
Exactly. We need to be prepared not just technologically, but also philosophically and ethically.
Right. How would we interact with an alien civilization? What would our relationship be like?
These are all questions that we need to start thinking about now so that we're not caught off guard if and when the time comes.
Makes sense. We can't just ignore the possibility and hope it goes away.
And I think stories like Kay and Doug's, these first-hand accounts of encounters with the unexplained, they're what keep this conversation going.
They make it real, relatable.
They remind us that there's more to the world, to the universe, than we can see and touch.
That there are mysteries out there that challenge our assumptions and force us to expand our thinking.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to question. Don't be afraid to explore the unknown. And most importantly, don't be afraid to believe in the possibility of something extraordinary. The truth is out there, somewhere. Maybe it's time we all started looking a little closer.
The truth is here.